Guys, we are back, and I would like to say that I've been productive. Unfortunately, I've hit a bit of burnout and kind of taken a break, and it's turned into a little bit over a month. But I've got a plan. I'm feeling reinvigorated, and we're gonna tackle this, and we're gonna try to get something accomplished today. What do you guys think about this build? Yes, the interior is a blank slate. We've got a lot of opportunity in here. You can see we're already kind of laying something out today. Go ahead and drop your guesses what this is going to end up being. But that is going to turn into today's focus. But first, let's just take a quick peek outside. I'm really loving the design of this build. We used a whole lot of granite. We've got some andesite. We got some deep slate. I really like how this has come together. We did a lot of terraforming along this waterfront. If you guys remember, none of this was here before, so we brought the wall down, made it look really natural, added some greenery. I think it turned out pretty good. Unfortunately, this part of the foundation kind of looks like it's part of the building. That wasn't my intention, but I wanted you guys to be able to see into the base and see that there's a whole lot going on down below. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, if we should change this, tweak it. I am open to suggestions. It's already changed quite a bit. And one of the reasons this took so long. But I'm really liking everything about this. These smokestacks, guys, I rebuilt these 3 times. I guess what they say, the third time is a charm, or 3 times is a charm, however that goes. Originally, I had this just a 2x2 and it looked really funky. We switched it to a 2x3, bumped it up against the building, and that enabled us to add some more details by adding the deep slate. I'm really liking these little brick walls. We use some there along the top here and some more andesite to bring in blocks from the build. And I discovered these smokestack blocks. I'm not sure how you're supposed to break these. When I rebuilt them, they just disappeared. And I used my vibranium salt touch pick, so I'm not sure. I just built some more. They're very inexpensive, basically some coal and iron. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. We've got us some nice brick balcony stairs. I think it's textured really well. The roof is probably the most basic thing, and that could change over time. I want to add some structures up on the roof, like little ways to come out on the roof. But for now, this is what we got. I think it is a great start, and it's a massive building. Guys, the plans that I have for this base as we continue to expand is crazy. I'm just going to say I've got at least 3 more major structures planned that's going to go in this area around our base. But for today, guys, we're going to pop down back to our storage system, and I want to show you what we're going to work on. Guys, I am a little bit excited to tackle today's project. If you couldn't tell, we are going to be diving into Extreme Reactor. We're going to attempt to skip the basic one and dive right into a massive 15x15 interior reinforced Extreme Reactor. We're going to try to build that at least 7 blocks tall, and that's what we're going to be putting over here in this spot right here. You can see this is where I did some measurements to make sure it would fit and it would look nice, and that's where all of our control rods are going to go. And like I said, I'm really excited to dive into this. And I did forget to mention, since it's been a few weeks since we worked on this series, they have dropped a couple of major updates, and that does include Create. And let me tell you, I am resisting hard just dropping everything and diving into Create, because, I mean, when you have a factory, and that's going to look fantastic in these builds. But I really need some more power because we're having a hard time powering all the machines that we have, and I'm already ready to expand, get us some more excavators going. Which reminds me, our excavator did finish running. It has been a while, and this is what we ended up with. I wanted to show you guys this before we started processing it, but essentially, let's switch it over to stored and craftable. We ended up with a little over 22,000 deep slate iron ore and almost 10,000 coal ore. That is incredible. We will be moving that at some point today, and I'll let you guys know. Hopefully we'll get our Extreme Reactor set up and we can get a couple more of those built. But what I want to do is I want to show you guys what we're going to have to do. we are going to need a significant amount of not just steel, but also something new that we're not producing called graphite. And if we switch back over to craftable, you'll see that I've already added some patterns for some of the components we need. And these things, just to say we need 500, we're going to need a lot. And if we take a look at that, you're going to see we're already short iron. No problem. We have a ton of iron, but we're going to need a lot of steel, and we're going to need a crazy amount of graphite bars. And if we take a quick peek at JEI, you'll see in order to get a graphite bar, we are going to have to process a whole bunch of coal through smelting. So it's a good thing that we set up our excavator. We should have enough coal if we run that through our fortune setup to craft a whole bunch of graphite. So that's what we're going to start working on next. Okay, I've made some minor adjustments to our setup down below in order to process a whole bunch of coal, graphite, and steel. If we take a look at our configurator, you can see we upgraded some of our piping to advanced logistical transports. And we've also added the highest tier capacitor to both our sag mill and our alloy smelter. And man, is that thing running through the coal? I just checked, it already has a couple thousand in our system. That's going straight into Ender Chest, as you guys know, is going directly into our system. Now, we've got coal. In order to make graphite, we're just going to run our coal through our alloy smelter. We've also made some upgrades to our infusing factory setup. We did make them advanced. We upgraded our logistical transports to advanced as well, and we added some speed and energy upgrades. So once again, we're not maxing things out because I don't want to overload our power, but we should be able to start producing a whole bunch of enriched iron, and then we'll have to run it through again and get some steel. So this is going to go quite quickly. So I'm excited. It's going to go straight into our system. We have almost done a full inventory of coal. We're down to just over 256 coal. Now we can put some coal inside of this chest and we can start producing graphite in a very quick pace. Oh, wow, that is crazy. How much power is that using? Everything running. We're outputting 500 FE a tick, so that's not too bad. That's pushing the output of our cables though, but I think we'll be okay. All right, guys, I'm gonna work on producing a whole bunch of resources, and then hopefully we can start crafting some components. It took a little bit of time, guys, but I think I have all of the resources in our storage system we're gonna need to craft up the core components for our Extreme Reactor structure. You can see we processed a whole bunch of iron. We've got over 6,000 graphite bars. We got over 6,000 steel, and some of that steel being produced. We have a whole bunch of glass and essentially everything that I think that we're gonna need to craft our core components. And I've been doing some math, and we know how that usually goes. But according to my calculations, we're going to need 600 casings, 410 pieces of glass, 41 control rods, and 287 fuel rods. I will say the glass and casing, I rounded up a little bit, so just so we would have enough. But I believe that's a pretty close estimate. So we're going to start with our reactor fuel rods, and we are going straight into a reinforced. As a reminder, we're skipping that basic. So we're going to go 200, and we're going to go ahead and make it 300, and we're going to downsize that to 287. We're going to build these specifically of how many we need because we won't need any extras. Let's go ahead and craft that. You can see this is going to use 287 uranium, 574 graphite bars, 1,148 steel ingots, and 574 glass. We may not have enough glass, but we'll see. We'll see. Let's go ahead and craft that up. Now that that's almost done, we're going to take a look at crafting our 41 control rods, and that's going to be this one right here. We need 41. And you can see this uses some wood, cobble, some additional graphite, steel, a whole bunch of iron, some pistons, reactor casings, and full-blown iron blocks and a smidge of redstone. So let's go ahead and get that crafted. Why is it not? There it is. It's just really, really slow. Well, that one is slow. This is actually a really good opportunity. Let's go ahead and grab some sand. And we're going to go ahead and make some additional glass while I'm thinking about it. And just ignore our helper there. He's helping us with some putting some things together and collecting resources. So we're going to make some more glass. This will also be a good opportunity just so you guys can see. If we look at our crafting jobs, you can see where it's using the first CPU. I think that finished. So that one actually finished up. Well, let's go back to Extreme Reactors. And we're gonna do the glass next. So we need 410 reinforced reactor glass, and you can see again over 1,600 graphite and steel, almost 4,000 iron, almost another 1,000 glass, and a whole bunch of iron blocks. That's a lot. We're gonna go ahead and craft those up. That's gonna take a little bit of time. You can see that in the crafting status. You can see where it's queuing up all the work. That's the estimated time that it's going to take. It's using CPU 1. Oh, and it even tells you how much is done. It will speed up as it gets some of those bolts done, but in here you can see it's putting all those components together. And we have it spread out so it's able to use different CPUs for different things. And this is the one controlling the process. I hope that makes sense to you guys. But we're gonna wait for that to finish up, and then we're going to craft up our casing. Now, before we craft our remaining 600 casing, we're gonna take a look at some of these small components that we're gonna need. We are going to need one reactor controller, which is using all kinds of different components here that you can see. We're going to go ahead and throw that into our inventory. We're going to need one computer port. We're going to build, let's build 3 of these power taps. And then lastly, we're going to need 2 of these reactor solid access ports. And apparently we need some hoppers. So we're actually going to set that up as a pattern because that's something we'll probably need quite a bit. And now finally, guys, we're going to craft 600 of these casings. And this is probably going to take a little while. It looks like we're short about 1,800 iron. I'm going to grab some from our iron farm. We'll still miss 500. Guys, I'm going to have to process some iron. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get that and get our 600 casing. And then we're going to work on putting this together.
Don't stop. Watch out now. Watch out now. Don't stop. Watch out now. Don't stop. Watch out now. Watch out now. Don't stop. Watch out now. Don't stop. Watch out now.
Okay, guys, we got that all put together. Well, most of it. You'll notice it doesn't have a roof, and there is a reason. We'll be adding the top of this massive reactor here in just a moment. You can see we've got our controller, our 2 access points, as well as a power tap ready to go. And over here we have our computer port, which we're going to set something up really cool later in this episode, and maybe not until the next one, because we're going to really be stretching it to get everything we need to do packed into this episode. But to the top, you'll notice There is no top. And that's because we need to put some type of fluid in here in order to keep this thing cool and make it as efficient as possible. And when I was looking at the options, I have decided to go with the very best option, which is going to require a little bit of work. And we're essentially going to be crafting a whole bunch of red phrygium. I think I pronounced that correctly. And if we look at that, you'll see that it requires a fluidizer machine, and it's going to combine tangerium and cryomisia. And if we look at tangerium, that requires 4 ender pearls and 1 of these angel sites. And if we go back and look at cryomisia, that's going to require snow block and redstone. We have enough redstone. We have enough ender pearls. We have none of these, and I think these are mineable in the end. So we're gonna go mine and grab some of these, and we also need to figure out snow blocks, as well as setting up this machine called a fluidizer, and we're gonna temporarily set that up probably right here, and then we're gonna need 1,025 buckets of red phrygium. That's a ton. I've been doing some math. That's over 4,000 ender pearls and over 500 of those little angel sites. So I'm gonna work on getting all of that collected and ready to go. And then we're going to get this bad boy filled up, and then we're gonna add the top. All right, we have the smallest fluidizer multi-block that you can craft set up. It's pretty simple. It's a 3x3 with 2 fluidizer solid injectors, because we're going to be injecting solid blocks to get started. It also has fluid injectors, so we will be swapping it out. And we have the fluidizer controller, and on the back we have a fluidizer output port. And at the top you can see that there is an energy tap, and we're feeding it power from our dimensional cell power grid, and we can right click that and you can see the GUI. So it is powered. It's waiting on materials to start processing. So we're going to just throw 2 barrels up above this. This is a temporary setup. We've got some logistical transport pipes. We're going to set these to export, and then on each side, I don't think it matters which side, but we're going to throw the angel site on this side, and on this side we're going to put ender pearls. Obviously we're going to need a lot more than that, but I wanted to show this off while we work on processing a whole bunch of this material up, and it's not running. What did we do wrong? Oh, well, I guess we need to turn it on. And it's, you know, it's not the quickest, but we only need about 1,000 buckets. So we may have to figure something out here. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But I'm gonna throw a tank on the back. We might expand this a little bit because it ain't super expensive. I am worried about power. I'm hoping I can just put that on there, or does it need? It looks like it needs a pipe. No problem. We'll open up our backpack. We'll grab. If I have any advanced universal cable, I don't have any. That's all right. I have. You can go grab some. We're gonna throw the tank down. I'm gonna go grab some pipe, and I'm gonna work on processing all this up, and then we'll move to the next fluid that we need. Okay, guys, you may have noticed, but our setup has expanded a little bit. It's actually, well, it's tripled. We did add 2 more of these multi-block fluidizers. One to craft our cryomisia, which is made from snow blocks and redstone, and 1 more to combine the 2 fluids that we're making into our final product, which is going to be the red phrygium. Man, these words, man, they're killing me. I also expanded these 1 block up to speed them up a little bit. And it's good to note that when you break these multi-block structures, as long as you don't move the controller, anything that's inside the machine, it will stay there. So when I broke this one and expanded it up 1 block, our angel site was still inside of the machine. And we are outputting into an elite tank. We do have 2 elite tanks back here of both fluids. They are full. We're gonna go ahead and connect these up to our 3rd fluidizer. I don't think it matters which side of these this is on. We're gonna feed that in. We're gonna throw that one up there. And I do have 2 more tanks, so we're gonna go right back to making more fluid because we're gonna need a whole bunch of this. This is only gonna be 128 buckets. I need like 1,000 to fill this thing up. We're not planning to put any in the corners. I believe this is still like big reactors in the original version of Extreme Reactors, where the corner blocks don't matter. So this is just can be dead air. For cooling, it's going to be 3 blocks out to the exterior wall, and that's how these work. So let's go back in. See how this is running. We do have it on. It is crafting our fluid. We got our first red refrigerium, and I forgot this is actually going to double, so we will need another tank. But I'm going to keep processing fluid, and well, we'll bring it back here in just a second. Guys, I just discovered an issue while processing fluids. This only needs to be 3 blocks and not 4, which means the interior of this reactor is actually 17 by 17, not 15 by 15. And that's why my calculations are off and I had to end up crafting more reactor casing. We are going to have to build a whole bunch more rods. So we're going to have an even bigger reactor than we planned. So guys, I gotta get back to work. Okay guys, we have finished the reactor. I did end up using a flowing box around the edges, and the ones in the middle are solid all the way through. I was going through so much refrigerium that just to do in between the fuel rods was over 2 of these tanks. You can see we're processing some more. I'm gonna finish processing this up. But essentially, I think we're done with our reactor. It did end up being a massive 17 by 17. We added an extra 140 fuel rods and 20 more control rods. These corners are hollow. We have graphite in there blocking the fluids. And that's because the radiation expands outward 4 blocks and not to the corners. So there was no need to put anything here. We are ready to fill this thing up. It takes an insane 1,700 uranium just to fill it up. That's basically how much I have. It does have a buffer of almost 600 million. So we should at least be able to gauge how much fuel it's going to burn, how efficient it is, and how much heat it's generating. So I'm really excited to turn this bad boy on, guys. We're going to get these set up. That's actually going to be an input, or excuse me, this was going to be output. This was going to be an input. So we're going to put all our uranium over here. We're going to start feeding it in. We're going to get it full. It's going to take a little while, guys. Maybe it will take as long as I thought. But we're going to turn off the reactor. Turn off the reactor, push the control rods all the way into the fuel rods, and hope for the best. Cool. That must blow it up. I don't know what that does. But it's working on filling it up. I think it's going to eat most of that uranium. So we're close to being able to power it on and see what this bad boy does. All right, we are fully fueled up. We're ready to power this bad boy on and see how much power we're getting. Guys, I'm going to take a guess and say it's going to be burning probably 1.5 millibuckets a tick. Maybe that's a little low. And generating at least 200,000 FE a tick. I have not played with Extreme Reactors in quite some time, and I know they've tweaked the power and fuel consumption a little bit. So let's see how efficient Agro's Extreme Reactor is going to be. Man, here we go. Let's turn it on. So she's getting warm. She's getting really warm. Oh wow. So, but it is important to remember that wow, this thing filled up 1.6 million FE a tick. That's insane. That is insane. It's burning through almost 2,300. 1.8 millibuckets a tick. That's pretty inefficient. But it's not terrible for 1.7. Wow, I was way underestimating. Okay, guys, I have played around with the fuel rod insertion, and if you didn't know, you can right click these. You can change one at a time or change all. And essentially, the more that you increase the fuel rod insertion, it lowers the power gen, and that also makes it more efficient. So we're running these at 40. And at peak, we were generating 1.78 million FE a tick. At 40, we're doing 1.5. It bounces between 1.49 and 1.5. And we're burning 1.1 millibucket of fuel. And we're keeping our core pacing and heat under 2000 Celsius. It's still a little warm. We could probably bump that down even more. But I feel like this is pretty efficient. We weren't burning 1.8 millibuckets. We could probably drop that on down and get it even more efficient. It'd still be generating crazy power. I'm so impressed. I don't think we're gonna need any more power until we get into like a big, massive mechanism nuclear reactor. I am so pumped, guys. We're gonna go ahead and flip this bad boy off. No need to burn up all our uranium. Again, we may tweak this a little bit more and bring it down to 1 million just to make it super, super efficient. That's still way more power than we're going to need anytime soon. But now that we have an incredible power system, guys, we can really start expanding. In the next episode, we're going to be setting up a mechanism induction cell so we can hold all this power. We're also going to be diving into flux network so we can move our power around wirelessly, and a lot more power than we're doing with these dimensional cells. And then if we have time, we're going to be building our massive next tier applied energistic storage system with significantly improved auto crafting capabilities. But for today, guys, we're gonna wrap things up. As always, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's episode. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you have any suggestions or feedback, please leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe. This is Agro Ninja, and that's a wrap.